Oh!
I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
Leaked footage from Gervonta Davis's training camp shows him trading punches with heavyweight-sized sparring partners ahead of his highly anticipated bout with Jake Paul.
You touch your head. Oh, stop closing up. Gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
The clips reveal Tank testing his power against towering opponents, proving he's not intimidated by the size difference. His team reportedly arranged these intense sessions to toughen him up and silence critics who doubt his ability to handle bigger fighters.
Wake up. Do it to him. Put it on his ass.
Gervonta Davis has been taking on much larger opponents during his training sessions, sparring with heavyweights and power punchers to sharpen his strength and timing. These grueling sessions show his growing confidence, refusing to stay within his weight class as he challenges fighters who outweigh him by significant margins. Jake Paul has built a career on picking fights that grab attention and stir controversy. He doesn't choose opponents randomly. Every matchup is carefully designed to favor him in some way, while still leaving room for uncertainty. Whether it's a difference in weight, experience, or fighting style, Jake always finds an angle that gives him leverage but keeps the audience guessing. That balance between control and risk is what makes his fights so addictive. Fans know he's calculating, yet they also sense the danger that comes with testing himself against unpredictable rivals. Each fight becomes a story of advantage versus possibility, a gamble that leaves viewers wondering who will seize control when the bell rings.
Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat, and you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat, and they're about to fight. It just feels like Jake Paul is always picking fights where he has a massive advantage. Like now he's fighting Gervonta Davis, who's, I don't know how much smaller, but probably close to like 80 pounds smaller, which is a crazy, significant weight advantage for Jake Paul. Now, you have to also look at the other way. Gervonta has a crazy advantage over Jake Paul. He has incredible amount of skill, more years of training. For sure, pound for pound, he would mop the floor with Jake Paul. But this is what makes the fight exciting. And two guys fighting, and we don't know who's going to win. Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And they're about to fight. Somebody's about to say go, and these guys got to go at it. So that's what makes a fight exciting. And so this is kind of that. Because if they were the same weight, none of us would tune in. We'd be like, this is just a punching bag for Gervonta. It doesn't make the fight exciting. But because Jake Paul is so big, so much bigger, it makes the fight exciting.
Promoter Eddie Hearn believes the upcoming fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul crosses a dangerous line. He argues that boxing's true identity lies in competition, not in theatrical events created purely for publicity. According to Hearn, the size difference between the two fighters makes it clear that they are not meeting under fair circumstances. Jake Paul is naturally bigger, while Gervonta comes from lighter divisions built on speed and precision. Hearn warns that when boxing becomes too focused on entertainment, it risks losing its foundation as a professional sport. To him, this event feels less like a clash of skill and more like a business performance designed to pull in views and money, something that could erode the respect boxing has earned through generations of discipline and sacrifice.
I said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round. I don't know what it is, but I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However, you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at that fight for the beginning?
Yeah, no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now. After that, I mean, we're not going to wait around till November. Is it November or December, whenever it is, and see how he gets on. I mean, if he gets chinned by Gervonta Davis, we can't exactly make the Anthony Joshua fight.
Former champion Pauli Malignaggi takes a more realistic view of the fight. He reminds fans that this event should not be mistaken for an official boxing match. It's a show. Malignaggi points out that there's no betting, no serious ranking implications, and no long-term consequences for either fighter's career. To him, the bout is more like a modern exhibition, meant to entertain the masses rather than test professional limits. His take reflects the frustration of many boxing purists who feel the sport is drifting towards showmanship over integrity. Yet his honesty also acknowledges the reality of today's boxing business, where personality and promotion can outweigh belts and titles.
When I watch it, I don't. I just think he's fighting opponents that, are not with it anymore or are too small for him and whatnot. But in this situation, it is an exhibition. So you've got to keep in mind that this could be set up. This could be like WWE. This one could be set up. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but this is not a sanctioned fight, champ. This is an exhibition. And an exhibition means you cannot bet on it. You cannot bet on the result. If you remember, this is why they changed the Mike Tyson fight from an exhibition to a real fight, because they realized, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means, I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that, as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing: Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. That's a lot of weight, Carl. You've been in a boxing ring. That still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is, if the gloves are small, Jake could also hurt Gervonta, because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him. So do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got an advantage? I don't know. Technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
Wade Plemons from the Wade Concept describes Jake Paul as a master manipulator who uses fame and ego as weapons. Jake doesn't just throw punches. He plays psychological games that draw opponents into his world. He knows how to build tension, provoke reactions, and turn challenges into viral moments. Wade explains that Jake lured Gervonta Davis into this fight using wealth, attention, and the promise of massive financial reward, making it nearly impossible for Tank to ignore. Jake's confidence and marketing instincts transform each of his fights into a global spectacle. He understands that real victory doesn't just happen in the ring. It happens in controlling the conversation before and after the final bell.
Also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight. and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create as if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is. It'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul. If he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which has never been the case, but you get what I'm saying. What Jake is doing is trying to convince a casual audience that he belongs in the ring with bigger names. If he's able to hurt Gervonta at all, that might actually do.
Despite the circus surrounding the event, Gervonta Davis is approaching it like a serious challenge. Insiders from his camp describe him as focused, disciplined, and intensely prepared. His sparring partners have been noticeably larger, showing his commitment to confronting the physical challenge head-on. Observers at press appearances note his calm demeanor and unwavering focus. For Davis, this fight isn't about fame or spectacle, it's about proving that skill and precision can overcome size and showmanship. This battle is personal. It's his chance to defend boxing's technical foundation in a matchup designed to test his limits both physically and mentally.